Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You know what? I actually listened to that song twice today. Before that, yeah, I did. It's been a long time since I've listened to Cher. I'm like, oh, this song is so freaking perfect to start the Dome tonight. I'll give it all to you. All right, let's come on, guys. Come on, guys. Stop talking about Cher's flat ass. It's time to learn about time zones.
As you'll know, Earth is divided into time zones. But when did the idea of a time zone come about, and when was the current day formalised system of time zones created? So, first of all, people have known for a very long time that the world is round, and thus that it was daytime on different parts of Earth at different times. The thing is, for the overwhelming majority of human history, it was completely irrelevant, because when you were travelling by foot, by ship or by horse, you would move too slowly to notice a difference. So when did time zones become a broader concept that mattered to the average person? Well, it happened around the mid-19th century and was down to two major technological advancements. The first being the railways, because it was considered somewhat important not to have two trains on the same track at the same time.
Probably
and the second was the telegraph. So the first country to introduce a time zone was the United Kingdom. This happened in 1847 when railway operators switched from the numerous local times, which were often several minutes off of each other, to Greenwich Mean Time. This was regulated by the Greenwich Observatory, who had a permanent telegraph link to the railway stations across the country and would update them with accurate times to set their clocks to. Now, just because the railways adopted these measures didn't mean the rest of the country did, and the process of creating a unified time for the nation took many decades. And in fact, the primary pusher for this wasn't business but workers, unions and their parliamentary representatives. There was a fairly common practice of factory owners buying clocks that intentionally ran slow during the day so that their workers would work 10.5 hours whilst only believing they worked 10. And another reason was the desire to control when alcohol could be sold. In order to legislate for both of these, time had to be standardised. A process completed with the 1880 Definition of Time Act, which split the United Kingdom into two time zones, Greenwich Mean Time and Dublin Mean Time.
Elite Number Arms says, you see that, Yanks? England invented time as well. You're welcome.
Time, which was 25 minutes behind. The same process happened shortly afterwards in the United States, which itself adopted what's called Standard Time in 1883. This was the result of discussions between American and Canadian railroad tycoons who had collectively decided to split continental North America into 5 time zones, later reduced to 4. These time zones were wildly different to the ones used today, and also the American government and public weren't consulted. In the end, there wasn't much the US government could do about it, and so in 1918 it made it official and passed it into law. So what about globally? Well, after the US adopted Standard Time in 1883, President Chester A. Arthur called for a convention to standardise time across international borders. This saw delegations from the world's great powers and also Liberia who discussed which country would be home to the universal time. And the country selected was the United Kingdom, much to the annoyance of the French delegation who refused to accept this change and continued to use their own Paris time until 1911 when they reluctantly signed up to the international standard. And thus the international system of standardised time zones was created, and over the next century the world's nations signed up to it, the last one being Liberia, despite having agreed to it nearly a century prior.
I hope you enjoyed this episode,
and a special thanks to all my Patreon supporters: James Bisonet, Marvin Cassow, A Man of Culture, Kelly Moneymaker, Danny Maloney, John Biz.
Next, time zones, everybody. Didn't exist until the 1900s. That's nuts. I had no idea. See, this is why we watch Date Night, my friends. Up next, did the future already happen? The paradox of time. Can we control our destiny, or is destiny already set in stone?
Do your past, present, and future all exist right now? Are you watching this video, being born, and lying on your deathbed at this very moment? Surprisingly, the answer could be yes.
You're blowing my mind.
But how can that be? What does that even mean? How does time work? The block universe. Imagine the universe like a child painting pictures on paper.
Oh, great.
Each picture shows everything that's happening in the universe in a single moment. With each new moment, all kinds of things occur everywhere. People are born and die, galactic civilizations expand, you miss the bus, and our universe kid makes a new picture that replaces the old one. In this way, you get something like a movie. only the moment we're in right now is real. The past is what happened before.
Howard
Now it's gone.
2022 invested $5.
Well, thank you, Howard. Ballyho, Howard. Howard says, Ballyho, Mr. Rotella, and fellow domers. The Democrats' last Merry Christmas per Trump. Where we go one, we go all. Ballyho, Howard. Thank you so much. I did see that today. And then I also saw a tweet that, or a truth that Trump put out, I think right before we went live. And it was something along the lines of release all the names of the Democrats, embarrass them, and let's move on to election fraud. No, that's not what we're looking for, Mr. President. We can do multiple things at once. We can look into election fraud, which we should have been doing this whole time. But we also want to hold these people, what's the word, folks? Accountable, Mr. President. The Epstein files are not ever going away.
The future is still to come and hasn't been drawn yet. This is kind of how time feels, right?
Thank you,
Each
Howard
moment being
Ballyho.
replaced by the next one. The past is far behind us, the future doesn't exist. But what if time is something else? What if the universe kit has already finished all its drawings and stacks them on top of each other? This way, we get a block of time that
Woke says, yeah, I know. Woke says we should stop living in the past and look at the now and the future. Don't pay attention to this video, Woke, when we're talking about Epstein.
contains the whole history of the universe, all moments that have ever existed or will ever exist. But in this block, in this stack of moments, the past, the present, and the future are equally real and exist at the same time. This feels wrong. The only things that we perceive as real are those things happening now. How can the past and future be real right now? The problem is that according to the theory of relativity, they kind of have to be. Heavily simplified, relativity says that time and space are not separated, but one connected space-time. When you move through space, you're also moving through the block. This means time passes differently for different people, depending on how they move through space relative to each other. And this also means that what someone perceives as now is a certain cut along the block, a cut that will depend on how fast they're moving. So what you think is now is really only your now. There are many different nows in the universe, and all of them are equally real. This also means there's no universal past or future. Okay, this is a lot.
I mean,
How does this work? Imagine 3 alien spaceships a million light years away.
We're smoking
The
early
first
tonight.
one just hovers in space, not moving relative to you. You both experience the same now, the same present. If you had a magical instantaneous internet connection, you could do a video call right now and chat about alien things. The second spaceship is flying away from us at 30 kilometers a second, about 3 times faster than a human rocket. It's moving differently through the block of time than you are, which means its now is different from yours. With the magical internet, the aliens can talk to your ancestors in 1924, when humanity was discovering the first galaxies outside the Milky Way. The third spaceship wants to visit Earth and is flying towards you at 30 kilometers a second, moving at the opposite angle of the second ship through the block of time. It experiences yet another now. With the magical internet, the aliens can talk to your descendants in the year 2124, when humanity has already built cities on Mars and Venus. Okay, so we have 3 different nows. So which one is correct? Well, that's the problem. Relativity is based on one powerful principle: cosmic democracy. The fact that the point of view of all observers in the universe is equally valid. All those nows have to be equally real. But if this is the case, your past, present, and your future all have to exist at the same time, right now. Because for the different aliens, they all happen in their present. This means that the distinction between the past, the present, and the future is an illusion. The universe is not a bunch of things evolving through time like in a movie, but a static block in which the past, the present, and the future all coexist and are real. How can that be? Well, think about a galaxy outside the observable universe, too far away to ever visit or see. But even if you can't get there and don't see it, it's still real.
Yeah, their now
The
is
future
still happening
might be
now.
the same. But if the past is not far behind us and the future actually exists, then there is no movie. Things don't happen in the universe. The universe just is, like a frozen block of dead, cosmic ice, with everything that will ever happen already written and decided. Is the future already written? If all times coexist and are equally real, then the future has to be already written.
So I was going to pause that video even though I just came up with the idea in my brain right now to pause it. I was always going to pause the video. Is that what this video is telling us?
But that's not how you experience things. It feels like you can mold your future with your decisions. It really feels like you're free to choose to stop watching YouTube to not miss the bus. But if the future is set in stone, you can't decide anything. So are your choices an illusion? Well, maybe. Maybe your free will is a mirage, and maybe you missing the bus was already predetermined at the Big Bang, so feel free to continue watching. Except quantum stuff is ruining everything again. Quantum processes can't be predicted, not even in principle. Not because we're silly and don't know how to do it. According to quantum physics, quantum particles are intrinsically random. For example, if you have a radioactive atom, it could decay at any moment, in the next second or in the next million years.
Well, hi there, John. John joining us tonight with a thinking emoji. I appreciate that, John. Have we seen John before? Not enough for me to remember. Welcome in, John. Nice to see you. Everybody say hi to John. Say ballyho.
We can calculate the probability that it will decay tomorrow, but no oracle in the universe will ever be able to tell you with absolute certainty if it will do so or not.
I think we've
But
seen
quantum
John
particles
once or twice
can change
before.
the world. Imagine a radioactive element randomly decays and causes a genetic mutation in a nearby mammal. And then many generations later, that mutation has led to a weird mix of duck and mammal that makes
Ronny
no sense.
Benoit invested $10.
I mean, a platypus is a little weird. What's up, Dome After Dark? A $10 Dome investment from Ronnie says, Ballyho Patriot, love you guys. Let's end the year strong. I appreciate that, Ronnie. Ballyho, my friend, thank you. Let's end the year strong. Start the next year even stronger. Dome After Dark, Ballyho, my friend.
Or the atom decays a day later, and the weird creature will never exist. If quantum stuff is really uncertain, the future can't be set in stone. But if the future is an untold story, it can't be real in the same way as the past is. So what happens when uncertain things like the decay of our atom become real? Is that moment the present? Is this now? But before we saw that cosmic democracy makes it impossible to define an absolute now. What's going on here? It turns out that for every individual object, you, an alien, an atom, the past, the present, and the future are always well defined. Your death will always happen after your birth, never before, and never at the same time. Now, you are clearly between your birth and your death. So, for you at least, now makes perfect sense. If we don't play tricks like going to the other side of the universe and using aliens in funny ways to find out what now means, things again start to look ordered and nice, and individual nows seem to exist. Can we do something with them? Let's return to our block universe. Maybe the block does not contain the future, and maybe we just imagined it wrong. Maybe the block is just the past, and a thin layer on the surface is the present. That surface is not smooth, but bumpy and uneven. It's been made by joining countless individual nows, each experienced by someone or something in the universe, each equally real and valid, and all observers do their bit, so cosmic democracy is still true. As new things happen and uncertain things become certain, radioactive atoms decay, new species of mammals arise, people miss the bus, the border moves upwards, creating new time in the universe.
How did the platypus become the platypus? Isn't the platypus like a duck and a beaver put together? It has the bill of a duck, but the tail of a beaver.
Instead of a frozen block of time with a future that has already been written, the block is growing and things happen. You can again decide your future. Maybe leave earlier so you won't miss the bus. What is real then? Let's recap. We started with time as a movie, one now after another, where only the current now was real. Then we found out that because of relativity, there are multiple nows, all of them real somehow, which could mean that we're living in a frozen block universe where things don't happen and you don't really have free will. And we ended up with a kind of growing block.
Let me listen to that. Let me listen to that part again. I do not want to live in a reality where I don't have free will.
Somehow, which could mean that we're...
Sometimes I feel like that to be true. Like, sometimes there's moments where Mr. Rotella is like, you know, I don't really want to do that, but then I go and do it anyways. Fuck.
Living in a frozen block universe where things don't happen and you don't really have free will. And we ended up with a kind of growing block universe where time passes and the future is open. So, which is correct? What is real? The present? The past? Are the dinosaurs as real as you are right now? What do the aliens on the other corner of the universe think about all this? To be honest, no one knows. What we've learned are two possibilities to describe time, but they're not the only ones. Some scientists think that the idea of now only makes sense near you, but not in the universe as a whole. Others think that time itself doesn't even exist, that the whole concept is an illusion of our human mind.
Valley Hope Founding Fathers.
And others think that time does exist, but that it's not a fundamental feature of the universe. Rather, time may be something that emerges from a deeper level of reality, just like heat emerges from the motion of individual molecules, or life emerges from the interactions of lifeless proteins. We could go on, but aren't you about to miss the bus?
I have time. Wait, I want to know where I live.
The concept of time is abstract and elusive, possibly beyond complete human comprehension. Fortunately, there's a vast world of things we do understand about the universe that you can explore right now, thanks to our friends at Brilliant.org. Brilliant has thousands of bite-sized hands-on lessons in science, maths, technology, and beyond. Their latest course, Introduction to Probability, offers a practical guide to interpreting the world.
Probability?
You'll master the tools of chance,
Really?
risk, and prediction while learning to model real-world situations and running simulations of everything from election results to who will win the next World Cup. They even have a lesson on the past and future, where you'll explore how past outcomes may not reliably forecast future events in the
But if I already knew this, wouldn't I know how to get 100% on the test?
ever-evolving tapestry of time. And since it's always a good time to learn, we've created an entire series of lessons in collaboration with Brilliant to take your scientific knowledge to the next level. These lessons let you further explore the topics in our most popular videos, from rabies and mammalian metabolism to climate science and supernovae. Think of each one as an interactive, one-on-one version of a Kurzgesagt video. To get hands-on with Kurzgesagt lessons and explore everything Brilliant has to offer, you can start your free 30-day trial by signing up at brilliant.org/nutshell. And for Kurzgesagt viewers, the first 200 people to use our link get 20% off an annual membership once their trial ends.
How much is an annual membership?
Our shop has grown so much over the years.
Okay.
Thanks to all of you.
Done with that. Well, Dome, what do you think you live in? Do you live in an ice block universe, or do you live in a expanding universe? I forgot what the second option was already. I just hope I don't live in the ice block universe. Here's that platypus that they were talking about. Look at this thing. Yeah, it's a duck and a beaver put together. I don't want to run into that thing. Oh, well, maybe that thing. Look at this little guy. Oh, my God. Platypus. All right. Stop talking about platypuses, Mr. Rotella. Ballyho D, welcome in. Nice to see ya. Elite Domer D. Okay, we're going to get a little bit more into time. That was just some fun stuff. I started you guys off easy, right? Time zones. Yeah, time zones. Sure. Got it, Mr. Rotella. Block universes. Do we have free will? All right, fine, Mr. Rotella. We'll go along with that. Next, why did time start going forward? A nice in-depth 30-minute documentary followed by Morgan Freeman talking about the mystery of time through the wormhole. We're going all the way from time zones to fucking black holes, my friends. We'll be right back after this musical break.